Hello, and welcome to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the injury market's top program for doctors, lawyers, and insurers who want to gain greater insight on how to improve patient recovery results and deliver better services in the U.S. injury market. Please welcome your host, Dr. Jeffrey Allen Kronk.
Okay, doctors, on today's podcast, what we're going to talk about is growing your practice in 2026. So most doctors, the only three ways you're going to build your practice. The three stats that you have to really understand. You have to understand the number of new patients that you're going to take in each year. Should know that for 2025. You should know the amount of patient visits that you've done for 2025. You just divide that by the number of new patients that you have, and that gives you your PVA. Does the average person come in and see you 10 times, 20 times, 30 times, 50 times? That's your PVA. And then what's your average collection per visit? That tells you how much money you make. You could also have what's your charge per visit. So you can see the difference between what you charge and what you actually collect. So those are your three numbers. Number of new, number of time you have the person come back, and how much do you charge per visit. So if I did 10,000 visits and I basically wanted to increase my charges by $10, I just made $100,000 next year if I do the same amount of visits, and I don't have any additional overhead. So I just made an additional $100,000 a year. That's how you actually look at your business. But there's another side to it, and that is, how do you open yourself up to this market and attract high value patients? Because you have a patient, you're going to look and say, well, gosh, on average, I do a $56 average cost per visit on my insurance side. Maybe you bill $200, but you get paid $50, $70. Okay, on the same side, if I bill that same $200 on the injury side, I get paid the full $200. So I can look and say, well, gosh, I think I want to replace more of my patients, my main patients, with injury patients. That's what I did in my own private practice to increase my own profitability. So what you want to do in 2026 is you want to become more visible, but you have to understand the market. You have to understand that you should position your market to be the market that takes care of these people, right? You should separate yourself out. Do something that's unique. And why do you do this? Why do you want to create a better practice? Let's get down to that. Why, if you're listening to this podcast, why do you want to create a better practice? Most of you want more money. You want more time. You want a better home. You want to create a better compound for your family. Maybe you want to have for your family, you want to have a home that has a swimming pool. So your kids, you make your house the house that everybody comes over to. Maybe you want to, don't not miss meaningful family events, your child's play, your Little League games, all the various things that you have to do. You have to balance your life. And so by balancing your life, you have to balance your professional life. And some of that comes down to profitability. So there is no more profitable market than the spinal injury market. It produces the largest market for you to be able to operate in. It is by far the largest. Now, a lot of doctors will say, well, gosh, I don't know. I don't have a lot of time. I just don't have a lot of time. I hear that all the time. Everyone has the same 24 hours. Elon Musk has the same 24 hours as I do. And I'm not saying, I'm comparing myself, that I get as much done in 24 hours as he does. But what I'm saying is everyone has the same amount of time. It's what do you get done in that amount of time? What are you doing with your time that you shouldn't be doing? Because a lot of you are wasting a tremendous amount of time doing things that you never even should be doing, right? So, look, I train doctors. Doctors come from all over the country to have me help them to understand how to position themselves to take advantage of the largest market in healthcare today so they can seriously grow their clinic revenue. Not by ripping anybody off, by providing incredible service to their public and by getting incredible results. But many of these doctors will have a 1-to-5 or 1-to-10 ratio. That means for every 5 non-injury patients, they need 1 injury patient to generate the same amount of revenue. So let's say that your non-injury revenue per person by statistics is $2,000. Somebody comes in, they're going to spend about $2,000 with you. For some of you, that's outrageously high. Like they might spend $1,000 or $500 with you. But let's just say for round numbers, $2,000. And you have a 1-to-5 ratio. That means that same injury patient is going to generate $10,000 in clinic revenue. That means for every 200 non-injury patients, I only need 40 injury patients to generate the same amount of income. That means if I have 120 injury patients in a year, I've developed a $1.2 million practice alongside of my other practice. Now, that's how you generate real revenue. That's how you generate balance in your life, is you have to be productive. Busy is not the thing. You could be as busy as I've seen some people that are so incredibly busy and so unproductive. But man, are they busy. They're just not productive. So they've never looked at the fact that, look, okay, let's break it down. I got news for you, doctor. Let's just break down how much time are you going to spend? If you have a 30-year career and you spend the minimum of 40 hours per week, 50 hours, take 2 weeks off, a lot of you never do that, then you would spend 2,000 hours a year. Or in a 30-year career, 60,000 hours. Now, many of you, like me, are going to spend potentially twice that amount of hours in the same amount of years. Okay, so it's not like you don't have enough time. You have oodles of time. But what you have is a lot of wasted time. A lot of wasted time that keeps you incredibly busy and not very productive. And the only reason why you're that way is because you don't have a system. You don't have a system of how you're going to approach the injury market. Now, let's look at the raw data though. So let's take your numbers. Let's just say you're 60,000 hours, and let's say you average $10 an hour. You're going to generate a lifetime income of $600,000. That's going to be low for most of you, right? Another, you are going to spend 30 years, and you're going to develop, and you're going to generate and get paid $50 an hour. You're going to generate around $3 million in lifetime revenue, lifetime earnings. Now, for some of you, that's very realistic. For a lot of you, it's going to be the 3 to 6 million mark, lifetime earnings. This is what you earn. This is what you take home. All right? That 3 to 6 million in 30 years is going to put you in a uncomfortable comfortableness or a comfortable uncomfortableness. You're going to be somewhat comfortable, but you're going to generally be uncomfortable most of the time. What that means is that, yeah, you don't have to think about, hey, how much is in my bank account? Can I just go buy groceries? You can buy groceries all you want to. You can fill your cars with gas. You can do whatever you want to. But if it comes to taking an expensive trip, now you're going to think about it. If it comes to buying something that you know you need, now you're going to think about it. You're going to think about it a lot. You're going to stress about it because you got all these things that you got to purchase and all these things that you got to do, but you just don't have enough money because you're not generating enough income. And so you're constantly going to be stressing out, how much do I pay people? How much? So you're going to be constantly concerned about money. And that's if you're in this $3 to $6 million lifetime earning range. Okay, but what if you were able to create $500 an hour and you earned $30 million? So if you look at this right here, if I go from 60,000 hours times $100, that's $6 million in lifetime earning. But if I add it to $500, it's $30 million in lifetime earnings. Now, in that spread between the 6 and 30 million, which is not that hard to do, but you have to decide what you want to do. You have to design your clinic. You can't just let your clinic design you and, you have this clinic by default instead of one that you're designing. You want to design a clinic that has two things. One, it's extremely clinically and financially viable. Extremely financially viable. And the other thing that a lot of doctors don't think about is you want it to be extremely emotionally viable, right? You want to come to work every day and go, wow, I'm witnessing miracles. People are changing their lives in my clinic. And I'm getting paid all this money to do it, and everyone is happy. Now, is it going to be everyone happy all the time? No. You're going to have problems to solve, but you're going to have better and better problems. Here's a better problem. Oh my God, what do I do with the money? What do I do with all the money? That's a great problem. What do I do? I've got this huge tax bill. What do I do with my tax bill? That's a great problem, right? So you want to change your current problems with better problems. And if you're looking at 2026, you got to decide. You have to decide what kind of practice do you want to have, because the injury market is the largest market there is in healthcare. There is not a larger market. And in this market, the blind are leading the blind. They always have been. In this market, 99% of the doctors in the market do not even know what a spinal injury looks like. And for those that do know what a spinal injury looks like, the market is a gold. It's a river filled with gold. There is not a larger market. So a lot of doctors think about, well, auto injury, attorneys, auto injury. Do you know that the home injury market is 5 times the size of the auto injury market? Do you know that the public space market is 2 times the size of the injury market? Do you know the work comp injury market is the same size as the auto injury market? Okay, it's spinal injuries that you need to understand, because spinal injuries are what are causing the leading cause, first, fourth, and sixth leading cause of chronic pain and disability in the world today. People have they have a greater than 50% risk of never fully recovering from these injuries. Why? Because they're working with doctors that don't even know what they look like. Doctors, if you've been listening to my podcasts, you know what they look like. But you have an advantage in 2026. You can take advantage and have the highest market opportunity that there is. Now, a lot of you are not prepared for the opportunity that's right before you. Since you're not prepared, you actually don't see it. You don't walk into a room of 100 people and go, wow, I know that 25 people in this room have chronic headaches. I can fill my practice tomorrow if I start talking. But what do I talk about, and how do I not overcomplicate the situation so I'm not mired down in all this communication that I may or may not want to have? Well, that comes from training. That comes from people do not, when people say success is when preparation meets opportunity, they don't say success is when you just stumble into opportunity. They say when you prepare and meet the opportunity. That's where success lies. And that's what I do. That's what we do in our Smart Injury Doctors training programs. We're training doctors and preparing them for the success in the market so that they can position themselves as the only logical choice for these patients in the market. Look, these are the most expensive conditions patients have. The American Pain Society says that if you have chronic low back pain, it's going to cost you $9,000 to $19,000 per patient annually. This is not me, right? If you have chronic pain, the U.S. Pain Foundation says $7,700 more are going to be spent per year with that patient on medical expenses. If you have chronic headaches, American Headache Society says $8,900 more per year. I just listed the first, fourth, and sixth leading cause of chronic pain and disability: low back, neck, and headaches. This market is so incredibly large and so incredibly easy to take advantage of. Look up statistically, how many doctors does a patient usually have to go for before they get any meaningful help? And you're going to find that the NIH and the American Pain Society says 5. And if you look at Pain Medicine and the Journal of Pain, they'll say 6 to 7 providers. Okay, your market does not know you are there. They don't know you're there. And that's the biggest problem that you have. You are invisible to your market. If you're in a town of 10,000 people, this is a small town, you're in a town of 10,000 people and say, well, who's Dr. Koch? I don't know. I don't have a clue. Never heard of them. That's the majority of people would be in your town. So you have to position yourself for 2026. Look at it this way. The more that you understand and the more that you educate and the more that you train and prepare yourself to be prepared to take advantage of this market, the more you're doing for your family, the more you're doing for your finances, the more you're doing for your time, your balance, your home, for everything else. Now, doctors, I am definitely here to help you. If you've never heard of our program, check us out at smartinjurydoctors.com. If you have any questions about what it is we do or how we help, we have such different levels of help, and we can help. But if you want to, you just call us at 727-306-2267 and find out more about what we're doing. Because in 2026, here's what I want for you. I want for you to have the best year revenue-wise and emotionally. That means patient results. That means having a clinic where you go, wow, I can't wait to get to the clinic in the morning because I know what I'm going to witness. That's what I'm wishing for you in 2026. And if there's any way I can help you, I will help you. Now, I want to thank you very much for your attention. Most of these podcasts, I just take a topic and I start riffing on it. I thank you very much for your attention. I look forward to delivering more content to you in the future. And I thank you very much for your time and attention today.
You've been listening to the Smart Injury Doctors Podcast, the #1 audio production show for professionals in the U.S. injury market that want to deliver better injury services to the patients, clients, or insureds they serve. If you like what you heard today, please leave us a review and don't forget to join us on our next program.